On the evening of the 22nd of September, the skies above northern Europe became the stage for one of the most unsettling aerial incidents in recent memory. The newly released video showing a large glowing orb hovering above Copenhagen Airport has reignited global conversations about unexplained aerial phenomena. Red Panda Koala was one of the very first to share the remarkable footage online, quickly drawing attention as viewers flooded in to witness the glowing orb above Copenhagen Airport. The footage depicts a radiant object suspended in the night sky, its glow steady and unmistakable against the backdrop of darkness. Unlike the jittery behavior of drones, the orb displayed unusual stability and persistence, hovering in place for an extended period. This video is significant not only for what it shows, but also for the timing of its release. On the same night the footage was taken, Copenhagen Airport was forced to shut down, grounding flights and disrupting the travel plans of thousands of passengers. While officials cited drone activity as the reason, many are now pointing to the glowing orb as the true cause of the disruption. For witnesses, its brilliance and hovering presence made it unlike anything they had ever seen. The footage has sparked waves of speculation online. Some believe the orb represents advanced technology, either military or otherwise, capable of prolonged flight and silent operation. Others argue that it may be of non-human origin, pointing out how its glow and behavior mirror countless historical reports of mysterious aerial lights. Adding fuel to the debate are claims that man-made drones were later deployed to distract and divert attention from the true object. What began as a few scattered reports of luminous green lights soon escalated into a full-scale disruption of air travel, grounding tens of thousands of passengers and leaving governments across the continent searching for answers. The epicenter of the mystery was Copenhagen Airport, where witnesses described seeing a massive glowing orb hovering in the night sky, unlike anything they had ever seen before. The object appeared suddenly and remained for a prolonged period, glowing with a steady intensity that set it apart from any drone or aircraft known to the public. Some said the orb hung motionless for nearly an hour, while others claimed it drifted with deliberate slowness, maintaining its presence above one of Europe's busiest air corridors. The silence of the object was as unsettling as its appearance. Unlike drones, which usually buzz with mechanical noise, this luminous sphere seemed to move soundlessly, radiating its eerie green glow over the airport. Air traffic controllers were quick to react. With flights preparing for both arrival and departure, the risks were deemed too high to ignore. Officials shut down all operations at Copenhagen Airport for nearly 4 hours, grounding planes and diverting others to alternate locations. For passengers, the situation was chaotic, with terminals filling rapidly as confusion spread about why the airport was closed. Only later did word filter out that the cause was not a technical failure, but a glowing orb in the sky. At the same time, Oslo Airport in Norway experienced a strikingly similar disruption. Reports there described another glowing aerial presence, leading to the closure of the airspace for 3 hours. The timing of the two events, occurring almost simultaneously, suggested to many that the incidents were not coincidental, but coordinated. Witnesses in Norway, like those in Denmark, described hovering orbs and strange green lights, giving credence to the idea that the two nations were experiencing the same phenomenon. Officials in Denmark did not downplay the gravity of the incident. Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen called it the most serious attack yet on the nation's infrastructure, stressing that the glowing orb over Copenhagen was no ordinary sighting. She explained that the activity was clearly meant to cause disruption and unease, though its origin remained a mystery. Her comments drew immediate attention from international observers as they reflected the growing awareness that European infrastructure has been increasingly targeted by unexplained aerial and cyber intrusions. The backdrop to these events added even more weight to the Prime Minister's warning. In the months leading up to the incident, several countries in Eastern Europe reported mysterious drone incursions believed to originate from foreign powers. Estonia had recently confirmed that Russian fighter jets had entered its airspace, and Poland and Romania had both reported suspected drone activity along their borders. At the same time, major airports across Europe were hit with cyber attacks, showing how vulnerable even the most secure facilities could be. Against this tense environment, the glowing orbs over Copenhagen and Oslo seemed less like chance anomalies and more like part of a deliberate pattern. For residents near Copenhagen, the experience was profoundly unsettling. Dozens reported seeing the orb clearly from their homes, describing it as brighter and steadier than any drone could possibly be. Its ability to hover for long periods without any visible source of propulsion convinced many that it was not a man-made device at all. Some suggested it was an unidentified aerial phenomenon, a category that has become increasingly difficult to dismiss in recent years as militaries around the world admit to tracking unexplained craft. Others argued that man-made drones were later sent into the skies deliberately to confuse observers and throw attention away from the true object at the heart of the incident. The consequences of the disruption were immediate and wide-ranging. Tens of thousands of travelers were stranded in Denmark and Norway, while ripple effects spread throughout the European air network. Flights were delayed, rerouted, or cancelled, causing chaos at other airports already burdened with heavy traffic. The financial costs were substantial, but for many, the greater concern was the vulnerability revealed by the events. If a single glowing orb could shut down 2 major airports in Europe within hours, what did that mean for the continent's preparedness against future disruptions? Observers who studied the footage that surfaced online argued that the orb's behavior could not be reconciled with any conventional drone. Its hovering ability, its glow, and its sheer persistence all pointed to a level of technology not available to the public. Some speculated that it was an advanced surveillance device deployed by an unknown power to test the defenses of Europe's infrastructure. Others leaned toward the extraterrestrial explanation, pointing out that glowing orbs have been reported around the world for decades in association with unexplained aerial sightings. What made the Copenhagen incident so striking, however, was the scale of the disruption. Rarely had a single unidentified aerial presence forced the closure of one airport, let alone 2 in separate countries on the same night. The timing was too perfect to be ignored, and it fueled theories that the orb's appearance was deliberate, meant to demonstrate power, sow fear, or perhaps distract from something else occurring behind the scenes. The incident also reignited debates about transparency in government communication. While citizens could clearly see the orb for themselves, official statements remained vague, often referring only to drone sightings. This choice of wording frustrated many who believed it was part of a deliberate effort to minimize public concern. To them, the videos of the glowing orb spoke for themselves, leaving little doubt that what appeared in the skies over Copenhagen was not something as mundane as a drone. As of now, the glowing orb remains one of the most mysterious aerial events in recent European history. No official explanation has been provided, and no group has claimed responsibility. Yet the impact has already been felt. For citizens, the orb is a reminder that the skies above them can change in an instant, revealing technologies or presences that defy understanding. For governments, it is a warning that even their most secure infrastructure is vulnerable to forces that cannot easily be explained or countered. Interestingly, in the last few months, various people across the world have reported seeing unidentified objects falling slowly to the ground, leaving a large trail of smoke. This in turn has caused eyewitnesses to call police and report that something is in distress. Investigators who arrive on the scene, thinking that it's a plane and that they will need further assistance, are surprised to find nothing in the area to indicate that something was in trouble. One of these objects was recently spotted above England, with footage showing a large object leaving behind a smoke trail. Those who saw it detailed that it looked as though something was on fire and described it as an unidentified object that was dark in colour. One resident by the name of Miss Jeffries was able to capture clear photographs of the incident. She said the following: "This is what we captured on the same day and time. We live in Hilperton, Trowbridge. We too thought it was an aircraft. But what grabbed our attention was how it was falling vertically straight down at such a slow speed. It was just bizarre. I would love to find out what it was. It was the strangest thing we have ever seen." My friend's husband said the International Space Station crew were docking that day, so perhaps it could be debris from that. There was something so strange about it that we stopped to watch. I didn't want to worry my children, so before taking photographs, I just said it could be something amazing falling from space. I think that's why my son didn't seem at all worried. My youngest did come downstairs at bedtime crying because he was frightened not knowing what it was. He calmed down eventually." End quote. Interestingly, other people living close to the area said that they also witnessed it, and again described the object as falling slowly, but said that they couldn't make out what the object was. A man by the name of Mr. Craddock said that the mysterious object fell for over 20 minutes and that the vapor trail it was giving off was a dark black colour. He said that his friends in London also saw the object. One police officer commented on a post that shared the photograph and said the following: "This incident was investigated by officers in the region, and although we could see an object falling to the ground, no one came forward to report a crash. Sometimes these objects can be explained away as things like skydivers or even aeroplanes, but in this case, it did look like something was falling to the ground. My family that lives 25 miles away sent me photographs of the event, and I have to admit, I've never seen anything like it before. It was very bizarre." End quote. Shortly after the photographs were released online, a worker from the United Kingdom's aviation unit said that it was most likely a plane, and that due to the angle of it, the object appeared to be falling from the sky. Many didn't buy this explanation, though, and said that for the past few years these strange objects have been reported across countries. Oddly enough, after looking through gathered data, researchers have said that the United Kingdom is a hotspot when it comes to mysterious sightings, and detail that hundreds of mysterious aircrafts have been spotted since the early 1940s, which has caused officials to conduct further research into the aircrafts to try and determine what they are and where they're coming from. The mysterious surveillance object. On the 5th of August, back in 2010, the Royal Air Force released a series of documents surrounding reported sightings of unidentified objects, with additional documentation about a specific incident 50 years prior that Winston Churchill himself banned the reporting of, out of fear that the story could create mass panic and lead to the degradation of society. The banned reports claim that on the 5th of August back in 1944, a Royal Air Force reconnaissance aircraft was returning from an undisclosed surveillance mission from France or Germany. However, while travelling over the English coastline, the surveillance crew claimed to have been suddenly intercepted by what each crew member described as a peculiar metallic object that began to match their aircraft's course and speed alongside them, before the object quickly accelerated into the distance and disappeared entirely. As the craft had hovered alongside their plane, several members of the crew rapidly began taking a series of photographs of the object to later verify their claims, as they possessed the equipment necessary to take higher quality images and gather sensitive data of enemy aircraft. However, as they began this documentation, they claimed that something appeared to be off about the unidentified object, as the unknown craft appeared to emit no sound or use any form of known propulsion to generate its lift. According to the released documents, any proof of the object gathered by the team has been completely destroyed or lost. Given this strange development, many believe that the event was covered up in its entirety, with researchers coming forward, including one man that wrote to the government back in 1999, claiming that his father had overheard the event while in a meeting alongside Winston Churchill and the then American President Dwight D. Eisenhower. The United Kingdom has investigated mysterious aircrafts in the past. The most well-known investigation was known as Project Condine, which was conducted by the British Ministry of Defence's intelligence staff between 1997 and 2000. The purpose of the investigation was to determine whether these mysterious aircraft sightings posed a threat to national security, and whether they could be attributed to any known technology or natural phenomena. The Project Condine report, which was released to the public in 2006, concluded that the majority of sightings could be attributed to misidentifications of known objects or phenomena, such as aircraft, balloons, or meteorological events. However, the report also acknowledged that a small percentage of sightings could not be easily explained and might require further investigation. The British Ministry of Defence also maintained a reporting and investigation system called the Unidentified Object Desk until it was closed in 2009. Interestingly, since then, various workers have come forward and said that evidence has been tampered with, and that various sightings that couldn't be explained weren't included in these files. As of right now, the British Ministry of Defence has stated that it would continue to investigate any credible reports of mysterious aircrafts that might have national security implications. All around the world, there appears to be a number of strange occurrences that seem to create a manipulation in both space and time. These strange occurrences have come to be known as different instances of time travel and time slips in our reality that not only causes unexplainable phenomena to surface, but can change our very perspective on the nature of our world. Various people have shared their own stories of these glitches, and it led to various pages being set up so that people can share their mysterious encounters. Just recently, an interesting video was shared on social media, and since being uploaded, it has gained hundreds of thousands of views. The user who uploaded the footage said that the event was like a glitch in the Matrix, and explained that thousands of birds were flying around in circles. The uploader said that the video was taken in Flatwoods, West Virginia, and that she had never seen this many birds in one area before. Those who saw the video said that the birds looked disorientated. One person said the following: "I've seen this type of behavior before, and it's usually when something has happened nearby. For example, in my case, it was that the birds in my region were allegedly poisoned, and it caused them to act like this." End quote. What's strange is that in the last few years, this isn't the first time that events like these have been reported, and it's caused some to ask why these birds are acting this way. A few months back, several news outlets reported that something was happening to birds in various different countries, noting that they couldn't explain why so many of them were dropping out of the skies. This caused people to come forward on social media and detail their personal stories. Oddly enough, it's not just one species that's being affected. Researchers who have been studying these birds and who have tried to get to the bottom of what's going on have explained that thousands of birds in the eastern United States are falling out of the sky, with some of these events even being captured by onlookers. It's led researchers to suggest that something big is happening right now, but after collecting the data and inspecting these birds up close, scientists have said that they are no closer to understand why this is happening, and said they are worried because it's happening in various places across the world, including England, Wales, Ireland, Australia, Turkey, Egypt, and various other countries. As of right now, the scientists who are looking into this have ruled out some of the most common culprits, but said they can't seem to get to the bottom of what's going on. The mysterious event was first recorded in Virginia and Maryland in May of 2021, but wildlife experts have said that within the last few months, reports are spreading all throughout the country. One scientist from the Hampshire Nature Reserve located in England said the following when asked whether radio frequency radiation could be behind this strange behavior. "Yes, radio frequency radiation can affect birds. Radio frequency radiation is a type of non-ionizing electromagnetic radiation that is emitted by wireless communication devices such as cell phones, Wi-Fi routers, and radio and television transmitters. Studies have shown that exposure to radio frequency radiation can affect birds' behavior, physiology, and reproductive success. For example, radio frequency radiation exposure has been linked to changes in birds' migratory behavior, changes in their feeding patterns, and a reduction in their ability to navigate using Earth's magnetic field. Radio frequency radiation exposure has also been shown to affect the reproductive success of birds, including a reduction in the number of eggs laid and a decrease in the survival rate of chicks." End quote. Chelsea Jones, a spokesperson for the Animal Welfare League of Arlington, Virginia, said the following: "In May 2022, we started to realize that something unusual was going on. We have received 300 birds so far, but that is just counting the deceased birds. The real total is much higher." End quote. As of right now, further tests are being conducted in order to get to the bottom of why this keeps happening. Staying on the subject of mysterious events, the USS Eldridge has long caught the attention of those interested in the unknown. Referred to by many as the Philadelphia Experiment, the strange military experiments surrounding that of the United States military, creating an electromagnetic bubble around the large naval vessel known as the USS Eldridge, helped to create one of the strange anomalous properties of our world. Originally designed to create completely radar-invisible ships by bouncing radar waves around the ship. These experiments would go on to create a warped space-time field around the ship and transport it through time and space, ending up in different areas of the world, and even sending 2 men through time in an effort to fix the timeline. Although the stories surrounding the Philadelphia experiment span many different accounts and decades worth of government cover-up and intervention, it eventually led to one of the men sent through time, Ed Cameron, coming into contact with humans of the far future as they were preparing to stop a cataclysmic event that was thought to be able to wipe out all life on the planet. Interestingly enough, despite these events having occurred back in the early 1950s, Ed Cameron would go on to make several startling premonitions about the future, including that of color televisions in the future, and even of future events such as that of hospital conditions, medicine, emerging technologies surrounding hospitals, as well as changes in the political map in the future. The majority of these findings were during his time spent in a hospital after being sent into the future of the late 1980s, and spending a large amount of his time during this period watching television, baffled by the technology of the future. This would later lead to the further written witness accounts of a man by the name of Al Bielek, of whom claimed to have been the reincarnated Ed Cameron, and was able to piece together many of the claims and questions surrounding that of Ed Cameron. He would go on to create a 3-hour-long tell-all video that he would post to YouTube before his passing, in which he not only further explained the science behind the Philadelphia experiment, but went into the strange future sightings of humanity, as well as the terrible cataclysmic event that is believed to occur in the year 2843, that will end all life on our planet as we know it. According to a reputable lawyer who is involved in bringing whistleblowers to Congress, the US military allegedly retrieved a crashed unidentified object that had the capability to distort space-time and was larger internally than it appeared externally. Daniel Sheehan claims that he was informed about an astonishing story by a knowledgeable source who purportedly participated in a covert program dedicated to recovering crashed advanced spacecraft. This individual has allegedly briefed the staff of the Senate Intelligence Committee. The attorney's account is the most recent addition to a series of astounding assertions this week about unidentified objects in the possession of the government. This sequence began with a public interview featuring David Grush, a former high-ranking officer in Air Force intelligence, who claimed that the US government has multiple crashed vehicles of advanced origin. The Department of Defense has come forward and said that they have not found any credible evidence to substantiate the claims made. Sheehan has been assisting individuals like Grush in coming forward to Congress in an effort to reveal what he perceives as a government lie to hide encounters with beings from outer space. The lawyer informed news outlets that he was told about a particular incident of recovery by someone who claimed to have insider knowledge of a crash retrieval program. This incident involved a partially buried 30-foot saucer with extraordinary characteristics. According to Sheehan, they made an attempt to attach a bulldozer to the object in order to remove it. Surprisingly, when they pulled, the object came out in a triangular shape, resembling a piece of pie, almost as if it was intentionally designed that way. As soon as it became dislodged by a few feet, they promptly halted their actions. Their intention was to avoid compromising the structural soundness of the apparatus. During the exploration, an individual entered the structure and was astounded by its vastness, which was comparable to that of a football stadium. The individual experienced feelings of unease and nausea due to the disorienting nature of the immense interior space. The dimensions of the object were comparable to that of a football stadium, but its external diameter measured only around 30 feet. According to Sheehan, the presence of warped dimensions extends beyond just space around the spacecraft. According to knowledgeable physicists, it is theoretically possible to manipulate space-time around an advanced spacecraft in order to counteract the force of gravity. However, Sheehan refused to provide additional information, such as the specific location and date of the incident, and stated that he was unable to present evidence to substantiate the allegations. The absence of specific information, records, and visuals is causing skeptics to disregard the accounts of an advanced spacecraft stored within covert government initiatives, considering them as mere fictional narratives. Military intelligence experts who have expressed their endorsement for Grush since he made his public revelation emphasize that he has exposed himself to significant danger if he is being untruthful, as all his assertions have been formally submitted to the Inspector Generals of the Department of Defense and the intelligence community, under the threat of legal consequences for perjury. According to knowledgeable sources in the intelligence community, there is credible and verifiable evidence suggesting that the government or military contractors possess a minimum of 12 unidentified objects. According to Public's report, they sourced information from individuals who also provided information to Grush during the briefing. According to an individual claiming to be a whistleblower, it is reported that every 5 years, there are 1 or 2 unidentified crafts that are either recovered from landings, captured, or involved in crashes. The whistleblower claims knowledge of approximately 12 to 15 such crafts. According to a defense contractor who disclosed the information to the public, there were multiple distinct forms and structures observed.